You don't need a new diet. You need a new identity. You don't need a new workout plan. You need a new identity. Imagine being as playful as a child, bursting with infinite amounts of energy, compared to being lethargic, depressed, full of anxiety, worry, and not liking to move or look at your beautiful self in the mirror. Imagine looking at yourself in the mirror and being so excited for every day of life, waking up knowing that you have a mission. If you would like to change the way you look to your dream body, then listen up, because in this video, we're going to go over the detailed steps, what I've learned over 30 years, not just of training myself, but of coaching thousands of people in gyms and fitness centers, being a manager of LA Fitness, working at the JCC Community Center in a really intimate community center, seeing people get over these limiting behaviors, and how I have, over the years, changed so much in my coaching, going from mainly strategy. And that's what so many people are sticking on, is strategy. I'm going to show you the best workout of all time and to do these movements every day. And I still am such a proponent for strategy. Yet, as Tony Robbins says, it's about 20% of the outcome for your goal is the strategy. And I know that's ludicrous. You may be like, well, what's the other 80%? That's insane. Yet it's been told to us from the beginning of time, from 2026 years ago, when we changed the way we look at time, from a metaphysical teacher who said, if you believe, you will receive. And you must change within before anything without changes. You must change internally, as said even in the Quran, that you must change internally before your external situations change. Buddha said, what you think about, most you become, just like Earl Nightingale said, some variation of that. And it is mind-blowing that we think just because we are changing what we're doing, we're going to change who we are. If you are just changing what you're doing and you say, like my new client, he said, what's the first thing we would start with? And what's the first thing I should do when I wake up? And I said, you know the answer, what is it? And he said, drink water. Of course, yet there's a step before that most people are skipping and missing. And that is what we're here today to talk about, which is your identity, your ID, your identity. Okay, now what's another word for identity? Another word for identity, your identity, is your reality. Your perception. The way you see things. When you change the way you see things, what you see will change. And how does this relate to nutrition? Right? What are you talking about? I don't need a new diet. I need a new identity. Because that will change your reality. When you see foods differently, I've heard so many people say that, I'm a meat and potato type of person, or stuck with one identity for simply how they eat. And when I look at why do we eat things, I would really pinpoint a few reasons as why we eat, right? We eat for, number one, would be great if someone said nutrition, but most people don't eat for nutrition. Let's be real. Most of us eat sometimes what cost? Write one down in the comments. Say one out loud. I'll hear you. Culture, right? Your family, they eat a certain way. your country eats a certain way. 80% of the world eats insects. In the United States, most people are like, ew, that's gross. Yet we eat super refined food that's super processed. And in the processing, it's in really large manufacturing companies where bugs actually are totally allowed to be in there. So it's interesting culturally in this hypnosis where we won't do something, but we actually do it anyway. The drug-like effect. I really love this one. Drug-like effect, right? If you call something comfort food, it probably has a drug-like effect. It changes your state and how you feel. We also have a big one, right? Taste, but not just taste, is the 2 T's, texture. Okay, so the way we see things and the way we're holding on to this identity and reality of, I don't like to eat certain things, they have a soft texture, that completely throws out like your ability to try new things when it comes to like fruits and vegetables and unrefined, unprocessed foods that are not homogeneous. When we process foods, they become homogeneous, meaning all the same, very same texture, taste, and cost, and it becomes a like cultural thing, and it certainly gives you a drug-like effect. And that you could change by your perception. It's very challenging to just change the way you eat or the way you use like a drug by just saying, I'm gonna stop. Some people, 1%, maybe 10%, have this enormous willpower to make this decision, and it really goes beyond that decision physically. It's a mental and a spiritual decision. So they're changing their perception. Can you change your perception about how you look at food and exercise? A great way of exercise, a great example of exercise is Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he was asked when he was a world Olympian, do you ever miss a workout? What does it feel like when you work out? He's like, no, I'd never miss a workout. To me, it feels like an orgasm. If you thought in your mind that working out feels orgasmic or euphoric or amazing, do you think it would be so challenging for you to do it every day? Of course not, because we as humans do what we feel like doing. And our feelings change enormously based upon our awareness or our consciousness, right? Consciousness. Wrote that a little messy yet. I'd like you to understand that these things are all the same. Your identity, your reality, your perception, your awareness are all the same. Or your self-concept. That's another good one. Self-concept. How you see yourself is, again, how you see yourself is going to be reflected externally. The kingdom of God is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. And everything that you see is a reflection of who you are. Your identity, your reality, your perception, your awareness, consciousness, self-concept. Some people really easily make healthy decisions because their self-concept is surrounded by this. Whether it's Arnold seeing a workout as orgasmic, it feels good, so he likes to do it. He knows he's trained his brain to feel good. And then you have what we call the RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain, right? And this gets you to focus and only see what you are really giving attention or awareness to, right? Oh, that's a simple thing here, is to say, what am I giving my attention to? If you do this throughout the day, start with just 3 times a day. Start with 1 time a day in the morning. You feel upset, you feel awkward. What am I giving my attention to? And then when you have an intense emotional experience throughout the day, whatever the intense is, the most intense emotional experience, the most feeling you have throughout the day, what are you giving attention to? When you're eating, what are you giving attention to? When you're choosing and making the decision to eat, what are you giving your attention to? What did you give your attention to right before you ate? Because I know if I'm watching something and they're eating something, I may feel like eating what they're watching. So we have that cultural peer pressure experience or influence of you see someone doing something and you're just ready to do it. It's automatic, like with a yawn. You may yawn, right? Or if I'm eating something or drinking water, you may say, I'm going to drink water. Love and gratitude, strength and healing. See, first is the intent. Before I drank that water, I gave an intention of love and gratitude, strength and healing. That's the step most people skip, is the imagination or visualization or appreciation. Some of our superpowers, right? Imagination, appreciation, expectation. Using those when I'm drinking the water or when I work out or when I eat, I use all of those. I imagine myself as getting stronger, getting better, clearer, healthier, more confident, less pain, less depression, right? What are you giving your attention to? Are you just giving your attention to the problem or awareness of how you can have a solution for that problem? Because every obstacle is an opportunity to overcome and experience the opulence that you naturally are. Because again, it's all about identity. We forgot who we are or whose we are, and that's the only reason why we're lost. We forgot that we have an amazing ability to throw a dart and hit the target instantly by visualization, imagination. So if you start your eating experience of something healthy, like, oh, I have to eat this, I'm on a diet, it ain't gonna work. Stop doing it. If you start your workout saying, oh, this is my trainer and he's my torture person today, it ain't gonna work. I don't care if you're smiling and you're joking about it. It's not gonna work. When you step into that arena and you're like, dude, I am doing the best thing possible. Thank you so much, trainer. This is amazing. Or, yes, thank you, body. I am able to do this. Not, you're so weak. Why can't you do this? Reward yourself constantly to change where you're giving attention to, and that will change your identity. Bing! Aha! That's like change your attention and you will change your identity. Write that down. Write it in the comments. Write it on your forehead. Write it on an index card and look at it often. When you change what you're giving your attention to, you will change your identity. And whatever you give your attention to will mold your identity. Another bar. Write that down. Write it in the comments. Take notes if you're serious, right? How are you perceiving this video? As like just entertainment, or are you ready to take the next step and stop saying, I tried another diet, I tried another workout plan? Now, I'm not saying that the diet and the workout plan aren't needed. I told you, yes, that is the strategy. That's 20%. That's very, very relative to your success. Yet, if you have the best strategy in the world and your story is not positive and is getting you further away from your goal, or you don't even have a goal, then the strategy is not going to work, at least as well or long term. May work short term for a short amount of time, but if you don't have a longer term goal and a story that backs up that goal, a story of success, a story of all your struggles are getting you to the next step of success. All your obstacles are opportunities so you could feel the opulence. All that struggle was there to strengthen you for your current situation. Once you get that in lock and take every experience as something that is actually getting you closer to your goal, even the ones that are seemingly indifferent, as Christ said, do not have righteous judgment. Do not judge by outer appearances. Because when the whole world is failing you and it seems like it's not working, if you keep going, you're 3 inches away from gold. 3 inches away from gold. So if you're watching this, congratulations. You are 3 inches away from gold. You have the acres of diamonds right there, yet the acres of diamonds is where most people don't look. It's not even in a book where most secrets are kept. But the greatest book of them all, that's not really a book, is internally. The book of thyself. Know thyself. Know where your attention is going. Know where your identity is getting shaped and shifted into. Why are you eating? Is it for nutrition or all these other reasons? Nourish yourself. Have yourself feel better, feel whole. There's other aspects to just eating. Eating is also what you're intaking. What are you watching? Are you watching this for an hour and then watching, something that's negatively, or when I say negative, it is not in line with your goal. Just think of it like that. Is this in line with my goal? Is this thought, action, or intake of food, whether it's video, whether it's music, whether it's friends, whether it's food, whether it's movement, or no movement, is that intake or output, is that getting me closer to my goal? Be specific with your goal, smart with your goal, specific, measurable, write this down, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That is a SMART. It's an acronym, goal, right? Specific. You must be specific with your goal and keep it positive, right? If it's just losing weight and you're like, I want to lose 40 pounds, let's change that up. If you're 220 pounds, you want to be 180, say, I am 180 pounds. I'm closer and closer to that every day, and it is happening by time bound. Set the date. It is, and don't just say 3 months from now. Say the specific date. By April 14th, 2026, I am weighing 180 pounds. I weigh 180 pounds by or before April 14th, 2026. Is that attainable? Is that realistic? It certainly is measurable. It certainly is specific. It's certainly time-bound. Now let's add the extra S. And that's where, because this SMART system already exists. I didn't create this. I just know it's amazing. Yet I add senses to that. And if you add senses to that, it's going to blow you out of the water from just a normal SMART goal. Because if you have a proper goal, it should instantly change your identity. You start, your heart rate increases. You start getting excited. You automatically change your focus, right? Your attention or your focus to what you would like instead of what you don't like. And your heart rate starts getting maybe quickened. You start feeling excited, like you're already moving. You're like ready to move. Like, you know what? I could go for a walk. I could eat an apple. I could love my life. I'm ready. I don't need a gym. It's cold outside. I'm going to start my workout inside and do some bouncing and do an ogfit.com workout. If you need help with specifics of not just the strategy of what to do, but how to change your story, and then how to really change your state, which changes everything, to instantly change your state by what you're focusing on and your attention, then take notes and hold on to this information and then let it go and grow from there. Go to ogfit.com right now and get a free book that will back you up and give you all of that, give you the strategy, the exact ways, what to do in the morning and the noon and night, and give you different alternatives, because we're all a little different. But you will get there, because we are all human, and to have your dream body is your birthright. You are not born to be depressed and anxious and full of pain and suffering. Struggle might be necessary for growth, yet to be in constant pain and suffering is not necessary. That's a choice. Just like you have a choice to focus on what you would like. Full book for you, ogfit.com. It's free. Go check it out now. When you make the SMART goal, you're getting so hyped up, you better be writing it down right now. Write it in the comments, write it in your notebook. Write down the date of when you're writing this one SMART goal, and then continue and keep on writing. SMART goal, writing out your SMART goals is a practice in itself. As has been said before by Emerson, thinking is the hardest thing to do. Because when you really creatively think, you're actually creating. That is our first mode of operation of creation, is imagination. We were imaged from God, so we are to image just like God and create, be fruitful and multiply. First pathway, though, is in your mind, to see it, to believe it, and believe it in your brain, and then you can see it in reality, because you cannot just create out of thin air without putting it first in your mind, in your imagination. That's why it's a superpower. And fully expecting it. That's why it's a whole separate superpower. Expectation and imagination and appreciation for where you are right now and where you're going to go. Powerful stuff, right? Powerful. And you're writing down these goals after goals after goals. It's going to change your attention and your focus. It's going to change your identity. Now, for me, having mentors, reading books is like the secret pathway to getting everything you'd like in your life. Because again, we have the Trinity of creation, and on the top is focus and our attention. And when we change our attention to what we would like, to the books that we'd like to learn about, The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama, like, you could get all of his knowledge. Einstein, you could get all of their knowledge. Unstoppable with Nick Vujicic, Man Has No Arms or Legs. Everything is possible by Bricker. This woman has no legs. Nothing is impossible by Christopher Reeves. You could tap into change your focus. You could learn to change your physiology, reflexology, the hand and the foot. You could do acupressure. You could do different exercises, right? You could learn from all these other books, like martial arts, and you could learn strategy like The Art of War, and you could learn The Naked Warrior and how to use your body and master it with bodyweight exercises. You could learn how to use a gym perfectly. It changes your focus, your attention, and that's your flashlight to reality. You start to not see anything else. That's what your reticular activating system is. It darkens out the whole world except for what you give attention to. God gave you a flashlight, and you're using it to look at what you don't want, to look at your problems. Start focusing on what you love instead of what you don't want, and your life will change instantly. Start giving awareness to where your attention is going. If you are starting a workout and you're thinking about limiting beliefs and lack of your potential and ability, then you are going to fail inevitably. And that's probably why you failed in the past. When you start approaching it in a different way, make fitness fun, realize it's activity, a family thing, realize how much better you feel, instead of focusing on like, oh, I'm getting sweaty, I feel uncomfortable, I feel embarrassed in a gym, then don't go to a gym. Start off with a good trainer like myself, who would take clients to the corner and not even need any equipment and just let them kind of hide out with me and be comfortable. You change your identity first. And then you could start changing your physiology, the way you're breathing, your posture, your facial expressions. That's one other part of the Trinity of creation, right? Of how you create reality is focus, and then physiology, and then your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself over and over again? And I would actually put in self-talk as like, what are you letting other people say in your ear? Are you watching movies or reading books or watching any type of entertainment or being around people that are saying like demeaning labels, degrading labels, they're complaining, they're condemning, and they're not considering being unified with the world. They're looking at separation so much, more competition than cooperation, and treating it as a competition instead of a mission. That throws off our identity, be in this world where we're not safe, we're not protected, we're not loved. When you change that reality to see yourself as one, as a cell of a multi-faceting organism called humanity, called the earth is one cell, that we're a holographic universe, that you're the microcosm of the macrocosm. When you start to get this deep and start to love yourself and see the God inside of you, then it becomes so easy to make the right decisions nutritionally. All you're doing is trying to fill an empty void. When you're eating, you're trying to fill an empty void, or sitting, you're trying to hide because we're in fear. We're in fear and we're frozen, not ready to move, instead of expressing ourselves physically. You may have excuses in the gym. You may have excuses. My body is starting to fall apart. I can't walk, Dr. Keith. I have MS, Dr. Keith. I am so addicted to food and alcohol. I'm in a situation, an environment where I'm not encouraged to exercise. I have no time. All of those are excuses. All of those are excuses, and you could do so much more. It's your birthright to be healthy, happy, wealthy, and free. And if you cannot have health, then you really have nothing. Even if you have wealth, you're going to spend it all acquiring health. Put focus and energy and attention towards creating a new identity where you are a healthy being. Say it with me. I am a healthy being. I'm healthy, happy, love, and gratitude. I am healthy, happy, love, and gratitude. Because we go in a circle, man. We start having the physiology, right? The posture where we're like, oh, facial expression, because we're focusing on stuff we don't want. And we're self-talking ourselves to death. It's been said that 80% of people's thoughts are negative and 95% are repetitive. And we have like anywhere from 5 to 50,000 thoughts a day. So if you have this thought 50,000 times a day, and 80% of them are telling you that you are no good, that you are worthless, that you're fat, that you're lazy, that you're tired and sick, then eating and changing your fitness level is going to be improbable. It's going to be like the heaviest weight ever just to open the door or tie your shoes. Tie your shoes is the hardest part of any run, even said by Tim Van Horton. Runs 100 miles in a clip, said the hardest part of running is tying your shoes. It's getting started, creating that momentum. Same thing when you create a new identity. You're getting started. You look at other people and see like their habits and think it's their discipline. You see someone super fit and think that they have such high amounts of discipline. It's the same thing as a smoker smoking all the time. They have discipline too, smoking 50 cigarettes a day or drinking a fifth every day. Like when I hear some people that have addictions of alcohol or heroin or cigarettes, I'm like, wow, man. I'll say like a crackhead makes $1 million a year because working so hard for their addiction, it's amazing. And we all do the same thing, yet it's because we create habits. The first habit is an addiction, right? So we have positive addiction and negative addiction. We usually call a negative addiction a addiction, and we usually call a positive addiction a good habit. Wow, he has great discipline. It's not discipline. Discipline is the first 3 days, maybe a month, maybe 3 months. And that's not much. I know 3 months were, oh man, but that ain't much. Come on now. And it could happen in 3 days. Because once you change the pattern, you have a pattern interrupt, and you change your pattern of what you're doing every day. Your pattern interrupt is changing your focus, changing your self-talk, changing your physiology, maybe even changing your environment, because your self-talk, that's part of your environment. Like, you go in a new place, you may think different things, do different things, stop doing that same habit of like, oh, I got to wake up, drink coffee, smoke cigs, then drink alcohol, have Tylenol, whatever that like neurotic hypnosis behavior is. It's a hypnosis. You're in a trance, and you could snap out of that trance and be self-confident. You are self-confident. You are aware that you are a healthy being. You are aware that you're an alpha. You're changing your identity. Everything changes. Everything. Yet if you don't start there, you're going to finish way before you start. You're already self-defeated in the race of life when you don't have the self-concept of being a winner. When you have that superpower expectation, you're still using it when you are saying, I'm going to fail. This ain't going to work. I'm not too sure this will work. Does it have a guarantee? You know, and I've been there. And I realized after searching for like guarantees for so long that it's me that is dependent on the guarantee. When I put in the work, I will get something out of it. Even if I hire the town fool, or I'm with the town fool, I could learn from that person. Only the town fool doesn't learn from another person. We all learn. We got that awareness. You could watch, there's a great quote, it was in Ready Player One, something about, I'll paraphrase, it was like, I think it was said in Superman by Lex Luthor, like, someone can read, you know, the War and Peace and learn nothing, and someone else can read the comic strip on a piece of Bazooka Joe bubblegum and know and unlock the secrets of the universe. Because it's how we look at things. Christ talked in parables because most people can't understand the simple truth. When you believe, you will receive. Do not judge by outer appearances, have righteous judgment. The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. All ye are God's. Be still and know that I am God. All ye are God's. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light, I am the life. God provides my every need. There are many mansions in my house. God is the eternal source of my external, endless, exquisite experience. What are you experiencing? You're experiencing what you give attention and focus to, because it creates your reality. What are you eating? You're eating whatever you give attention and focus on. It's not just like you're giving attention on French fries all day. You're giving attention on voids. You're giving attention on things you don't like that much. You're focusing on problems. You're going in a spiral, downward and downward, not feeling as good. That's why raising the levels of consciousness, being in a loving environment, loving yourself, having self-talk that's loving, being appreciative, being forgiving, being willing, being accepting. Those things change your habits of eating and exercise more than any strategy of, dude, you got to wake up. It's usually doesn't work. There's a small percentage of people it does work for, yet it's both. You're experiencing both. Because remember, your physiology, if you ate a poison, is really challenging to learn. So sometimes when people go on any diet, they're like, you got to go on keto, you got to be vegan, you got to be carnivore. And they're bragging about it because they got off so many poisons, so many processed foods that they weren't able to process themselves, because they're driving a car and the fuel you're putting in your body is diesel, even though your car ain't running off of diesel. What happens if you put diesel fuel in a car that does not accept diesel? You break down and you try and keep running. Your car is stalling, you keep running it, you push it to the very last end, exhaustion kaput. There are so many signs and symptoms. You're out of breath just walking up the stairs. You are lacking potential in your happiness, in your sexuality. You're like, don't have any more libido. for males, waking up like multiple times with an erection, right? For females, having that different feeling inside of you. That's creation, right? Being happy instead of depressed all the time, being able to move freely like a child. Some children I get really sad seeing because I will outrun them and be able to play them, and I'm like, what's happening? Even at a birthday party, running around, but then when I see what they're eating, chips, candy, cake, it's like no wonder why you can't function that well. Jai, get the door and tell them I'm recording, please. Thank you. So being able to communicate, right, your needs politely, respectfully to your community can change everything that's going on for you. Declaring your goals, your new self-concept, and, you know, you could, right, accept everything in your life, but you also don't have to allow everything in your life. You could give love to people, yet you don't have to give them attention. So if someone, for instance, is in your life that you really see them as going in a different direction, your goal, right? You could tell them that, and or not, and let them go on their way. Give them love and give them space too. You know, we have people in our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And sometimes it's a season and a reason. It catapults our health. Maybe they'll come back into your life when you get healthier, yet if you're keeping yourself limited at your health to have someone else in your life, you're going to limit them too. When you get in a higher level of health, then they may gravitate towards that, or they may stay there, yet you getting in these higher levels of health, if they're in any way contact with you, they may go up too. Because the rising tide raises all ships. We all can get, and this is where we're all supposed to be, at this high level of consciousness where we are loving, accepting, and in euphoric bliss. And our bodies usually function amazingly because we're not overeating excessively, we're not inactive excessively, and we're active, and maybe we're not overactive excessively too. Sometimes people are overactive excessively, and we wear ourselves down. A great example is just about any athlete broken their body down and not being able to function at the high level that they were used to, because what is their focus? Just on like winning? Or is it a mission to be on a higher level and a new identity? What is your goal? What is your goal? Break down your goals. And I could really teach about just goal writing for days and days, yet break down your goal with a SMART goal. Also break it down with different aspects of your life: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. An emotional goal, environmental goal. An emotional goal is, to me, is the peak of all goals, because when you have a goal, I'm going to say calm. I am calm. I am collected. I am resourceful. I am beautiful. I am loving. I am grateful. I am, right? Maybe you need to start off like, I'm not angry. What's the polarity to not being angry? I'm at peace. Okay. I don't want to be frustrated anymore. What's a polarity to frustration? Clarity. Or how about we go to neutrality of fascinated? Your words create your world, so when you use different words, you create a different world for yourself. If you're saying, I'm so frustrated, and you switch to, I'm so fascinated, you're going to start saying it in a different tone, different posture, different breathing. Or when you start saying it in a different tone, posture, breathing pattern, and say it sincerely, your self-talk is going to change your focus. It's going to change your reality. It's going to change your nutrition. It's going to change the way you eat. It's going to change your preference to taste and texture and drug-like effects, culture and cost, and start guiding you towards making nutritious decisions, not just entertaining decisions, whether it's in your ears or your mouth, whether it's in your eyes or your mouth, because what you take in with your senses is food. And when you have whole, nourishing, unrefined foods, messages that you are great, that you are amazing, that have you feel like you are great and you are amazing, your whole life will change, because you will get this mental nudges, you get intuition, like inner knowledge sent by source, because you're in that loving environment. Your subconscious mind, which is another aspect of what your identity is, because 90% of the time, or I said 95% of the time, you're having an automated thought. So you literally, your subconscious is habitual, as we spoke about. So when you start to change the way you're talking to yourself, you're going to change that habitual subconscious mind, and then everything changes. Then you're going to get those mental nudges, that inner tuition. You're going to tap into not just your subconscious, but you're going to go one step higher, right? Because you have your subconscious mind and you have your conscious mind. Right? Your conscious mind making some decisions for you. You have a spray bottle here? No. Your conscious mind is making some decisions for you. You're like, I want to eat better. Your subconscious mind is like, that's not what we do. The alarm clock rang. We don't drink water. We drink coffee. We don't have salad or fruit. We have bacon and eggs and Pop-Tart, right? Your subconscious mind overpowers your conscious mind. Yet, once you start changing your identity, forgiving, accepting, loving, you not only could go from your conscious mind to changing your subconscious mind, but here's where we get to the really highest level of the highest self with a capital S, self, right? Where you get to your super consciousness, right? Your God mind. You're tapping into the energy of the thought of everyone, right? Einstein saw him running next to light in a dream, tapped into his super conscious mind. Most athletes, most amazing people that are contributing to movies and music and media, books, amazing. They are like, I want to thank God. I didn't even write this book. This came right from source. Some people that write books like Conversations with God say that they're actually having a direct conversation with God. Or Hicks, they're tapping into and channeling. And there's other people that channel. Course in Miracles is a channeled book. We're tapping into the superconscious. You start doing that because you change your identity to an athlete, to a fit person, to your dream body, to someone that's self-confident. You're not going to make the same decisions that you were making before. Your decisions are reflective of your consciousness, of who you are. It goes be, do, have, not have, do, be. Who you be, or who you believe to be, right? What are your beliefs? You list out your beliefs about nutrition and fitness, and I'll show you what your behaviors are. Simple as that. Not you're like, oh yeah, I believe fruits and vegetables are good, but I don't eat them. That's not your belief. If you don't eat them, you don't think they're really that good. You must have, like, you have an underlying belief that, like, we need to eat beef for dinner every day. If you're eating beef for dinner every day, because you saw commercials that were saying beef, it's what's for dinner every day for 4 decades, and your parents were serving it, and you're, if you didn't have it, you'd be like, where do I get my protein from? Some ridiculous rationalization, even though most people who say I need more protein and are infatuated with protein are saying have a high protein meal. Ask them how many grams of protein they need per day. Ask them how many grams of protein is in their steak, right? Or in their meal. Ask them how many grams of protein they ate today. Most people don't know that. Yet most people somehow are infatuated with one class of nutrition, right? There's 6 classes of nutrition: protein, fat, carb, vitamin, mineral, water. So it's pretty amazing when we break down those things that a lot of people are searching and at a goal that they know very little about. Their goal is not so clear. And once you create that SMART goal and you create it in different aspects, different dimensions of wellness, like physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, environmental, financial, occupational, then you could even break it down further as what habits would get you to that goal, right? Drink water every day. What habits that you feel you could do easily will get you to that goal? Drink water every day, go for a walk, go to the gym. I don't like the gym. Take it off the list, right? Start with what can you do to get you to your goal? Get that free book right now at ogfit.com so you could get a little edge, a big edge on this new chapter in your life of transformation. Some people are stuck in an unknown hell. Some people are stuck in a known hell to avoid an unknown heaven. Don't be one of them. Heaven is right where you are. Heaven is inside. You could create heaven anywhere you are. It doesn't matter if you don't have the books, you don't have the degrees, you don't have the house. It doesn't matter if you don't have what you think you need to get to the next level, because you have everything you could ever dream. You're a microcosm of the macrocosm. The whole universe is inside of you. Once you imagine it first, you have already created it, mentally and spiritually. That's 2/3 of the game. All you need to do is listen to the mental nudges and intuition, the guidance from within that will give you the last third key to the whole, and let your dream manifest physically. You must manifest it mentally and spiritually to have it physically. You must become the person that will do the thing to have the dream body or whatever you would like. To be able to have conscious decisions about what you're eating, not being a slave to a plate, not eating yourself to death with a fork, not having high blood pressure and saying that a pill could handle it, because high blood pressure is a silent killer that 2/3 of our country has. Same with diabetes, high blood sugar. 2/3 of our country is pre-diabetic, right? Either we have it or we're on the cusp of getting it. We're right there. And it's because it's a no-brainer. It's what you're eating and what you're doing. Yet, if you just change those 2 things, you're going down. You got to change what you're thinking. You are not what you eat. You are what you think. And what you think will dictate what you eat. If you give awareness to a new self-concept, you will change so quickly that you won't even understand what happened. You will be singing praises and thanks. Drop it in the comments below. What is your goal? Announce it. Drop it on Facebook. Drop it on wherever your social media platform. Tell some people that will support you. And realize some people will not support you. If you're that delicate in your dream creation stage, do not tell anyone. Only tell people that will support you if you're that delicate in your dream creation stage. If you're ready to face the blows of someone saying, you can't do that, I've seen you try this before, say, I already did it. I may look 220 pounds, but I actually am 180 pounds by what? By April 14th, 2026. Change your self-concept to a specific, right? Your self-concept. Change your self-concept, which changes your reality. Simple way to put it, what am I giving my awareness to? Write that down if you haven't already. What am I giving my awareness to at this moment? What am I giving my attention to at this moment? Right? Attention. I think that's an easier word. What am I giving my attention to at this current moment? That builds your self-concept, which builds your behavior, right? And make sure it is in line or aligned with your SMART goal. SMART goal. Okay? Step 1, changing your self-concept. What are you giving your attention to? What is your physiology, your breathing, your posture, your facial expression, your tone? What is your self-talk? That creates your self-concept. You could change it. And that changes your state. Your state changes everything, because you could change your story when you change your state. And then your strategy will just be etched out. Everything's aligned with your goal. Now you're just going to be the person that you wish to be. It's that simple. I'm not saying just to start dreaming about you being an athlete and not taking any action, not reading any books, not watching any more videos, not going to a gym, or not going for a walk or drinking water. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the God within. The God within, the heaven within, will tell you exactly what to do. Read this book. Go for this walk. Go to ogfit.com. Get that free book. Maybe think about, if you really need help and you're a 6 to 7 figure entrepreneur, or you're a parent and your child's worth 9 to 10 figures, and you figure out how to be resourceful, to have a mentorship to save you decades, to have a system saving yourself time, money, and energy. System is an acronym. A mentor gets you, it's like a cheat code, man. It's like the way that we've always done things. You didn't learn how to walk, talk, read, and write without a mentor or a parent or some guidance that got you there so much quicker. Watching a video to walk, talk, read, and write, gets you to a certain place. Yeah, a mentor, man, boom, so much quicker. There's no top athlete or performer in the world that doesn't have a mentor, whether they're in music and media, or in modeling, or in fitness, or in nutrition. They're always going to have a mentor, and then they may become a mentor. Get a mentor. If you need help specifically with me, if you're vibing with me, you could see if you qualify. I'll only take a handful of students for mentorship. Go to ogfit.com. I also have membership. So membership is part of the Thrive Tribe and the Inner Circle, and that you are in a community, which you automatically get into with mentorship. Yet, if you do the membership, you could do that and have a troop of people, just not direct one-on-one it is one-on-one. It's one-on-one, yet you got to follow the time of the Thrive Tribe. So if you value time more than money, you might consider doing the mentorship at ogfit.com. And if it's not with me, do it with someone else, because a mentorship, a official coach, to me, the difference of a coach and a mentor is a mentor will do anything it takes to get you to the next level. And if you have someone like that on your side, pay them exorbitant amounts of money, because whatever your goal is worth more than money, especially if it's health. Because if you have wealth without health, you will spend all your wealth to attain health. So spend it spend it freely before you have to, and give it to a doctor to just be okay. You could give a mentor money and they will get you to be exceedingly glad to live life, love life, be full of energy, be able to run miles, lift pounds, do push-ups, squats endlessly, throw children around and hold them and play, and be a well-spirited, happy individual. Euphoric, normal. Euphoria, you means normal. If we're dysphoric, we can't even see correctly. We forgot what the word euphoria means, because so many of us say, I'm hanging in there, I'm surviving. Please respond differently. Not, I'm doing okay, I'm doing amazing, this is the greatest day of my life, I love my life, God bless me so much, I'm blessed, highly flavored and favored, I am living the dream, my life is so great, I'm so glad to be speaking with you, thank you for your attention, I love life and I love you. That is a response of a human, yet we have, God bless you, yet we kind of have lost our touch with our true identity. You have God within you. Awaken. The only time you realize it is a dream. When do you know you're dreaming? Not when you're dreaming. It seems real when you're dreaming. You know you're dreaming when you wake up. So I invite you to wake up and realize life is but a dream. You create everything by what you give your attention to and awareness. That creates your self-concept. That's how you create your goals. If you don't think you created a goal, you still did. Your life, what you're living, is your goal. The journey is the goal. You do everything the same way you do anything. And you're getting results consistently based on what you're thinking about. Your beliefs, your emotions, and your thoughts are your whole world. If you could change your beliefs, emotions, and thoughts, your entire world will change. OGFit.com. Here again. Subscribe or don't yet. If you've been here this long, you best subscribe so you could stay alive and thrive. Blessed love. Share with a loved one.